Reasons in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. This is a girl Ginger and Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal, it's Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition of We Talk the Thing Unfiltered. People no time to stick because I don't start in late. So you know we have our program here. Thank you to all those who will tune in and lock on to hear what I have to say. Please share the live, share the live. But we start with the program, right? One time. We must have the pledge.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
And you know, we have our program here, and I tell you, I'll continue to play this for the first people in the recognition of them. And to all those who have birthdays today, Miss Pamela and so many others who I may have missed, oh God, this is for you. This is the birthday segment. All those who birthdays today, support us. I love it. Talk the thing bunks up central. Listen to this. This will be my staple.
There we go, Travis. I feel like to sing. 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 Sing happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday. Sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to. One more time, let me go. Sing happy birthday to. Oh my God! Happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday. Sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
So all those who celebrate their birthday today, tomorrow, weekend, Happy, happy, it's strong, much life, much blessing and love coming from We Talk the Ting, Unfiltered, and Bounce Up Central. So let me start this right because start, not right, one time, because started a little late, we just have the historical thing, any newsworthy thing, so please listen to this.
You worked, but you were told the pace at which you should work. And if you didn't maintain that pace, you would be whipped. So part of the enslaved routine was punishment, heavy punishment. And what was called insubordination, because the law said an enslaved African could not be rude to a white, you will get punished for that. You could not hit a white, you will lose your hand. Or if you're lucky, you might also lose your neck. If you ran away and you got caught, they will chop off one foot to make sure that you can't repeat it. So it was those kinds of very brutal treatments that characterized the enslavement experience in the Caribbean and in the Americas, wherever enslaved people were taken. You had no rights. You had no rights to your body. You had no rights to keep your children. So families were separated, children were sold, or sometimes the mother was sold to one person, the father to another person. Often to discourage unities in family units, the planters would sell one party.
They sell me one way. They sell my mother the next way. I cry and I scream for her. Yeah, yeah.
Remember, we coming up to African Emancipation Day, and our history, as everybody else, history must be also remembered. Yeah, good, bad, and indifferent. Also, listen to this. Although he has gone, he's not forgotten.
Art of being black is often an acrobatic act in defending black humanity in a world that worships a pale, long-haired Anglo-Saxon savior, even though the Bible clearly describes him as a bronze-skinned, woolly-haired Hebrew. History continues right before our very eyes each time the importance of black lives is denied. What happens to unhealed souls left to linger in bodies that hold on to trauma? The immortal imprisoned by mortals who thrive on fears stoked by lies. And where do those souls go when the trauma is intergenerational? Uninformed race theory critics beget flag-waving parents professing patriotism who prefer their children pretend to be as blind to color as we purport Lady Liberty to be to justice. But she needs glasses so America can see how easy it is to be so indifferent to slavery when it's viewed solely as black history. But the holy truth is, slavery is white history too. As white as snow-covered plantations in the winter cold, as white as cotton before picked by bloody pricked fingers, as white as white abolitionists, and as white as the white men who own slaves themselves. How much of a toll does it take to drown a soul in a sea of wickedness? To twist and contort to justify an evil that annihilates human rights in the name of God? And what of the intergenerational transmission of trauma passed down to the descendants of those whose religion was genocide and theft of other human lives? And what of the souls of the descendants of the voiceless who had no choice but to stand idly by? Confederate flags still get waved to commemorate defeated states whose desire to own slaves was so great they initiated an uncivil war on their own country.
Gone but not forgotten, Malcolm Warner there. We all know him from as Theo from On the Crosbys. Yeah, gone but not forgotten. some inspiring words there. Remember also Miss Hazel Scott.
They don't teach this part of television history. The first black woman to host her own national TV show wasn't celebrated. She was silenced. Her name was Hazel Scott. Before Oprah, before Arsenio Hall, before Nat King Cole ever hosted a television program, Hazel Scott had already made history. According to television archives and congressional records, Scott was a Juilliard-trained piano prodigy earning the equivalent of nearly $70,000 a week in today's money. But her real power wasn't her talent. It was that she refused to play by Hollywood's rules. When studios offered her stereotypical roles as maids and servants, she said no. When she discovered black dancers were being forced to wear dirty costumes on a movie set, she shut down production until they were treated with dignity. When a Washington restaurant refused to serve her because she was black, she sued and won. Then, in 1950, she became the first black woman in American history to host her own national television show. But success made her a target. According to records from the House Un-American Activities Committee and the infamous publication Red Channels, Hazel was falsely accused of communist ties during the Red Scare. She publicly defended herself before Congress. It didn't matter. Just 1 week later, her television show was canceled. Her career was effectively blacklisted. She eventually left America for Paris. But Hazel Scott's legacy survived. She proved that black excellence didn't need permission, and dignity wasn't negotiable. As Hazel Scott once declared, "Why would anyone demand that I accept the indignity of second-class citizenship?" So here's my question. Do powerful voices get silenced differently today, or has the system simply changed its methods? Comment below, share this story, and follow Black History Unfiltered for more stories they should have taught us in school.
Yeah, and I think she was Trinidadian also. A lot of our history that was hidden is now going to be told. You all remember this lady I'm going to put up on the screen here? This here is Miss Yoko Fong. I went to Woodbrook's Government Secondary, and we used to see her riding. I don't know where she actually lived, but she always had that bald head. She always dressed like that, and always riding this bicycle with a little basket to the front. And I thought she was the fiercest person in fashion I ever knew. I admire this woman so much, and to see today she looks basically the same. So why have I put up her picture? I saw something written Yoko Fong, a true Trinidad original. Yoko Fong is a real Trinidadian original who has always done things her own way. Before her creative work, she spent years as a BWI flight attendant, traveling the world and picking up ideas that later shaped her style and thinking. People in Port of Spain remember her well, riding her bike around the city and standing out with her bold, unique presence. Over time, she turned her creativity into different projects like handmade dolls, fashion work, and juice brands. A lot of her journey is also linked to healing and speaking open about mental health. What makes her special is that she never tried to fit in. She built her own path and with her own style. And in doing so, she added something different to Trinidad and Tobago's culture. Thank you, Miss Yoko Fong, because you did do something to me, made me to be not afraid to be me and to be able to stand up. And even though you're different, that you'll not be afraid of that. So that's Miss Yoko Fong there. So I just had to show that before I move on. You all know that our calypso is how our stories are told. And our calypsos had everything that these reggae artists and pasa and what else call them raunchy singing calypso, reggae and songs and things. I always had that. But there was a way of putting it across. There was a double entendre. It was not raw and up on your face. You had to be like, oh my God, what are they talking about? Oh no, it can't be that, whatever, right? So just listen to a piece of it. And I hope that you enjoy. The music is the same through the centuries, you know. It ain't nothing new, the young people singing, no, it's just the way they put it across is a little more raw and raunchy. But back then it was the same thing, but put in a different way. It's not what you say. Sometimes it's how you say it. So listen to this. Lulu gone away. Lulu gone and Lulu
One more time.
Bang, bang, Lulu. Lulu gone away.
Lulu gone and Lulu gone away. Lulu had a common fowl and she had a duck. She put them on a table to see if they were really bang bang. Lulu. Sundar, hear this one. Lulu had some money for a man named Hunt. Oh God. He said if she don't pay me, I go bite she and she bang bang. Lulu gonna.
Lulu gonna say.
One more time.
Bang, bang, Lulu. Lulu gonna away.
Lulu gonna.
Lulu gonna away.
If I was to marry, I would marry a wave. Not an ordinary wave, but a nice maracas wave. Because wave does break and I does break and we go both break together. And in the middle of the night when things get tight, we go break on one.
Lulu gonna away.
Lulu gonna.
Lulu gonna away.
Lulu had a bicycle, seat was made of glass. Every time she ride it, it run up and she bang bang.
Lulu gonna away. Lulu gonna away.
If I was to marry, I would marry a okra. Not an ordinary okra, but a nice green okra. Because okra the slime and I the slime and we go both slime together. And in the middle of the night when things get tight, we go bang bang. Lulu gonna away. Lulu gonna.
Kaiso.
One more time. Bang bang. Lulu. Lulu gonna away. Lulu gonna. If I was to marry, I would marry a fork. Not an ordinary fork, but a nice garden fork. Because fork does fork and I does fork and we go both fork together. And in the middle of the night when things get tight, we go fork with one another. Lulu man.
Lulu gonna away.
Lulu gonna.
Lulu gonna away.
One more time.
Bang bang. Lulu gonna away. I hope it brought a smile to your face as he slimy. He laughing and same talent. So evening to everybody on YouTube. Wayne, Mr. Gibson, Anon, Jayana, Pearl, Slimy, Banina. Banina, I hope you come to behave yourself. So you behave very badly on Dominic show. Have some behavior today. It's a love. All right. We don't have to agree, but it's a love, right? Let me see what again we have there. And all those who are on YouTube, I want to welcome also persons. Anne, Bolty, Vernie, Maria, Melka, Joycelyn, Roslyn. I see Rhonda, Miss Pamela. If it's the same Pamela again, I don't play a happy birthday song already. Happy is strong to you tomorrow. I hope that you enjoy it and many, many more to come. So let me continue with the thing. So you see how they used to do the thing long time? Stem smarty, you know, same thing, but it's like a little, you know, you had to put in and fill in the blank. You could never say them say. Yeah, so let me continue the thing. What we have here now. Well, back in Ireland, England, let me tell you something. 2 prime ministers in Trinidad and Tobago in 10 years and people want to pass out. Look, look what happened in England, or has happened in England.
If there was a non-story, they would have told us that by now and we could have all slept in.
There are scores of journalists on the barricade here.
We're probably pretty close. You can probably see behind me, the speakers are coming out.
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, and being the best dad I can. Thank you very much.
I'm shocked because he felt quite stubborn with his leadership position.
I'm not sure this was a great news.
The Prime Minister has said that nominations will open for the new Labour leader in a couple of weeks' time. Does Andy Burnham have an overwhelming amount of support, which puts off any potential rivals?
So you're honoured to be sworn in as the mayor, the new MP for Makerfield, and that's my focus today.
I think people are pretty fed up with the merry-go-round of Prime Ministers.
I mean, they're extraordinary moments, aren't they, these? And we shouldn't forget that just because the frequency of them has notched up in recent years.
You know, there will be a lot of personal sympathy for Keir Starmer. I've heard it a lot over the last few days.
Confirm that I will put myself forward in the process that will soon be underway.
We now come to Andy Burnham, member for Makerfield.
I swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, his heirs and successors, according to law.
Papa, you must show you how much Prime Minister of Britain had. Listen now, is one after the next, one after the next. You must see. So Britain to have the 7th Prime Minister in a decade. We had David Cameron, so from 2010 to 16, then Theresa May, 2016 to 2019, Boris Johnson, 2019 to 22, Elizabeth Truss, 22 to 22, Rishi Sunak, 22 to 24, Keir Starmer, 24 to 26, and then they have a new one now. But just 2 in Trinidad, we're going 10 years, and we follow that same style of governance, that same style of, what do you call it, the Westminster system, yeah, is that? Okay. But they had problems. Anywho, let me continue. Yes, darling Brenna, I love you too. I love at the end of the day, but if I say anything, I go fix up your bam bam. You know, I'm in business, right? But it's a love still. So let me continue. It continues. People, listen to this.
I don't think you'd have to be a genius to know that the last thing the Horn of Africa needs is more foreign military bases, more weapons and more European meddling. What we call our strategic relationship isn't about human flourishing. It's about the EU's ambitions as a superpower. There's now a new great game in the Horn of Africa. Greater and lesser powers are pockmarking the place with military bases. France, the US, China, Germany, Japan, Italy, Saudi Arabia all have a presence in the tiny area of Djibouti alone. Mercenaries are swarming in from all quarters. The entire region is being militarized. War is in the air. And what about the people facing climate and food insecurity? None of this benefits them. We talk about instability, but we only make it worse. We flood the place with weapons, hand over the profits to European arms companies and charge the bill to our citizens. And then with the carnage, we go back in and we do it all again. It's a racket. Strategic relationship, it's one thing after another, isn't it? Really, it's the same as it ever was. And all I can say is, God save Africa from Europeans offering help. But the truth is, it's a million miles from the reality of EU-Africa trade policy as it exists now. Because our economic relations with Africa are simply a continuation of European colonialism, perpetuating exploitation by other means. Africa trades more with Europe than it does with itself. It's portrayed as a poor continent, but actually it's the richest. It's just that the people there are denied the fruits of their land and their labour by unequal economic relations, by unfair trade rules, by illicit capital flights into the Western banks, and by multinational corporations allowed off the leash by Washington, London and Brussels.
Sister, you say it. When you say it, they go believe you. They doesn't believe when we talking that. Sometimes as people, we look like we have to say it for we to take it serious and understand the seriousness of this thing. Yeah, Africa is the richest continent in the world yet. So we have Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados. She's out in Ghana. Listen to this.
President Mahama, the people of the Caribbean have come to join hands. We in CARICOM have been fighting now for virtually a decade on this issue of reparations. And we believe that this effort to bring all of our global partners here together in Accra will allow for this too to be regarded as a historic moment. We live in a world today where people call out people for everything, but yet we have not found the moral courage to state unanimously across humanity that this grave crime against humanity that persisted for centuries ought to be declared so by all. That others choose to remain silent is a reflection of them, not of us. There are others who say that there's been slavery before, but ours was the only one to declare us as chattel and as property. I stand here today on behalf of the government and people of Barbados, conscious that our duty is to repair, and our duty is to call for others to repair. Regrettably, our parliament was the first parliament to establish the 1661 Slave Code, 2 decades before the Code Noir, which has just been repealed in France. That slave code came to be mimicked, copied exactly in some of the colonies of the United States of America and the Caribbean, and in others used as a platform for their own slave laws. It is the categorization of us as subhuman. It is the categorization of us as chattel, as property, that stripped us of our dignity first and foremost, but equally removed from us the choices that are necessary in life to truly express freedom. We have come to ask that those efforts be coordinated in such a way such that we can bring healing to our population. I believe that our working together with the CARICOM 10-point plan on reparatory justice, which has been revised and which we have brought some copies here to share in Accra, will add to the excellent work which you are doing and the establishment of the committees that will carry on the work for our people. These committees, however, will only mean something if we can stay together united and not allow division yet again to be the anchor for those who want to win against us. Almost 70 years ago, in this country, Ghana, you summoned the world to join you as you embarked on the journey of nationhood and independence. Today, in 2026, President Mahama, you have summoned us again to join you. And we, the children of Africa and its diaspora, are clear as to our responsibility and are clear that even though journeys are not always finished by the same people, even though battles are not won by those sometimes who started, that our duty nevertheless must be resolute and our commitment and solidarity unshakable. I have every confidence that we will come to understand that the union of Africa and the Caribbean can bring prosperity and stability to our people.
Who was there to represent Trinidad and Tobago? That's Prime Minister of Barbados, Mayor Motley, out there in Ghana, in the, I think it's at a conference or summit on reparation for peoples of African descent coming out of enslavement and chattel slavery, which was different than any other slavery that there was, right? Because slavery was something practiced by countries. But in those countries, when you were captured as a slave, you weren't considered a property. You weren't considered less than. You were still able to rise up in that tribe or that group as a leader still, even though they captured you and you were a slave. But this chattel slavery, we were considered property less than animals, totally different. And we build Europe and we build the whole of Europe with all the backs of our ancestors, blood, sweat, tears, mutilation, torture, murder, rape, kidnapping. And yet today, some who benefited the most refuse to acknowledge that we should be the children of those enslaved Africans, should be afforded the benefit, because had it not been for that, we as African people would have been in a much, much better place. And the Ashantini came down here to celebrate with us a couple of years ago for African Emancipation Day. And people used to doubt us when we say we came from kings and queens. We actually saw a king came here. He came with his own jet and all his dancers and all his men of honor and whatever you call them, dressed in the traditional wear, the kente cloth. And people didn't understand the kente cloth was a cloth that the designs, and it was really roadmaps. It was really sending messages, just like the cane over here. These things are very serious things. And some down here laugh and say, oh, he have on dress and all that. Instead of celebrating the fact that our king came back to Trinidad, we saw for ourselves the goal. He came. Listen, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. His one jet, everything, but still it has some here who laughed and say what he wearing. But you know what? They will watch some people in the other traditional clothing and put it on and have no problem with it. But I digress a little. So let me continue this a little more of Mia Motley out in Ghana.
I pray here in Accra that we not be divided by language, by geography, by passport, by party or by generation. The children of Africa, whether in Bridgetown or Kingston or Accra or Port of Spain or Lagos, the children, whether in New York or Bahia, carry a story that is connected. And it is a story that deserves being told to build a future that must be enshrined in dignity. We come to Accra to insist on justice with discipline. We know that development is repair. We know that opportunity is repair. We know that truth is repair. And to the young people of Africa and the Caribbean and the Americas who say, what does this have to do with me? I say to you, everything. For the debt of history is paid in the currency of your future. When water systems fail in our country, when, as I said, people cannot access electricity, when culture is stolen, when climate is denied, when finance becomes more expensive and more difficult to access. This is your inheritance that we are negotiating today.
The iniquities of the slave trade still remain, and the demographic that slavery affected is still the poorest part of this world, because the world is rigged against the descendants of slaves and the victims of slavery. And so our work goes beyond reparations, goes beyond return of artifacts. It goes into advocacy for creating a more equal world. Our voices were fragmented for decades, and it served the interests of some groups to keep those voices fragmented. And I'm happy that for the first time, we're beginning to speak with one voice.
I say to you as I leave you, one people, one purpose, one aim, one destiny. God bless our mission.
Who was there from Trinidad and Tobago to represent us? Even Dr. Ralph Gonzalez was there.
I'm at the airport at Accra in Ghana. The backdrop here is the Black Star. I'm leaving after a few days in Ghana. We came to the reparations conference. The next steps, after the historic resolution on the March 25th, 2026, where the United Nations, the resolution was passed overwhelmingly with only 3 countries opposed, where the slave trade, the trade in African bodies, and chattel slavery seen as a crime against humanity. The greatest crime against humanity. Under the leadership of President John Mahama of Ghana, a very successful Next Steps conference is put on. There is a comprehensive resolution, declaration, outcome document, which incorporated the CARICOM 10-point plan, which I had helped to work on when I was Prime Minister, and the work continues because there's now a revised 10-point plan for CARICOM. In the backdrop here is Go Black Star. The Black Star is in the flag of Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah, the founder of independent Ghana, and put it there. It had come from the Black Star line of Marcus Mosiah Garvey in Jamaica. Of course, the Black Star won their first game thus far, and we are hoping that on Tuesday they will defeat England. I don't know if that's going to happen because it's an uphill battle because of the ranking of England. The World Cup fever is in Ghana, while people recognize the hypocrisy of all what goes on with the World Cup in the United States of America. We leave here with renewed spirit to continue the fight against imperialism and for the quest for reparations. It has been an excellent conference, and I think we are at a higher level in carrying forward the struggle. The repair campaign, of which I'm part, is doing excellent work in supporting CARICOM and the African Union in their work for reparations for native genocide and the enslavement of African bodies. I leave Ghana with high spirits about the future of this struggle. And I want to thank the Ghanaian government and people for accommodating us and for all the arrangements they made to have this a very successful conference. Thanks.
Panema, you're entitled to your opinion, but your comments show a level of ignorance. But you will have to treat and deal with that. So let me continue. I still love at the end of the day. So let me continue. A little throwback to some history, because I'm going into a little of Tobago. So there's a little throwback here. Remember this. Some of you may, some of you may not. Some of you may not have been born then, but I know my crowd here is a very mature crowd, so I'm sure you all would have remembered this, because a lot of things came out of this in 1986. We ended up in a situation we never want to end back in. And well, when it comes to our salary and money, kind of similar, something happening. But our 10% was taken away from our salary. And Ms. Glenda Hood Caesar, a nurse, represented by PSA. When we had a PSA, we would have won that case in court. It became a precedent-setting case where, just as in the Constitution, your land and your house is considered as property, your salary is also considered as property, and nobody cannot. Just the same way they can walk in your house just and all that, they can just take your salary and your benefits from your salary. So big up there to Ms. Glenda Hood Caesar and the work she would have done setting precedent-setting case that today we can afford to stand up and say our salaries is our property. And based on that, you can't tell we, instead of giving we cash money, you're going to give us bonds for what we worked for already. So just bring back the same memory.
On December 15, 1986, the people of Trinidad and Tobago voted a new government into office. They chose Arthur Raymond Napoleon Robinson as their new leader. For a man who had fought the People's National Movement for nearly 3 decades from inside and out, Robinson's time had arrived.
I have complete confidence in our people and in our future. However hard the problems may be, however difficult the road may be, I know we have what it takes to overcome.
For the outgoing Prime Minister George Chambers, it was a most humiliating moment. His party had governed for 30 years. Now, under his leadership, the party had suffered an embarrassing defeat, and with it went his own constituency, lost to a man who had never faced the polls before.
Because I believed it was necessary to have a new government in the country, and particularly in removing Mr. Chambers from office.
I have accepted without reservation these results as the exercise of the democratic will of the people. It is certainly to our credit as a nation that the transfer of power can take place peacefully and in orderly fashion.
For the people, it was what they called an act of liberation few thought possible. A whole generation had known no other governing party, and in those 30 years that the PNM held power, the party had somehow grown to believe that it owned the country, the people, and the resources.
33-3. Historic loss. And here was a lost. And because of strong leadership politically, the PNM was able to come back. Always remember that strong political leadership. Coming out of Tobago, you all remember when this gentleman said this? Yes, I saw somebody say they remember 1980 and they cried. Yes, Shirley Henry. A lot of people lost their homes. They were walking back into agency and giving back the keys for their homes from in Santa Rosa. A lot of parents had to leave their children and go away with grandparents at the barrel. Children think come in. A lot of families were broken up. A lot of lives were disrupted when the NAR came into office and the structural adjustment program that came with the IMF. And soon after that, all they said they could have fixed the country. And they always love to come in to say they will fix the country, they could do this and do. And then they're never able to do it because they always feel running this country easy. So listen to another song of the soil in Tobago, some of the worst. Listen.
I hate them! These sycophants, these people, these big, tall red flags in the yard. I don't like them! People just remember last words. See them people, them big red flag. You have no justice for after elections. No justice! I'm making it out tonight. These are my last words. Those people, the big red flags in the yard, there is no justice for you. No justice. None. We will deal with you after elections.
How did that work out for Watson Solomon joke on a platform? Say no justice for the people with the big red flag. How did that work out? Temporary gain and what? Long-term loss. So let me continue. So today was, I think it was either today or yesterday, if I'm mistaken, was budget day in Tobago. And this is a little of what would have transpired. Listen to the Chief Secretary.
The Tobago House of Assembly is seeking $4.12 billion for the next fiscal year as it outlines an ambitious plan for autonomy, economic growth, and food security. Finance Secretary Petal Ann Roberts delivered her budget presentation on Monday, vowing to take the island on the pathway to prosperity. While the programs were scrapped in Trinidad, Roberts announced a restructuring of both URP and CPEP, with the latter now falling under the Division of Food Security. She explained that CPEP workers will now be employed on mega farms to boost the island's food resilience. The initiative is expected to double agriculture's output, which stands at just 1% of Tobago's gross domestic product.
We want to have realistic, attainable goals for the next fiscal. So yes, that will not take us to where we need to be, but it is a step in the right direction. For us, it's more than just the provision of food. It's really a question of food security.
The budget also places emphasis on tourism, with the THA proposing a community-based model while protecting Tobago's natural environment. A key aspect to unlocking tourism, Roberts stated, is increased airlift when the new airport terminal opens. Chief Secretary Falia Gustin revealed more direct flights will be arriving from next month.
Where we're at is direct flights coming from Toronto to Tobago, so that should be onboarded soon. We also looking at Ogle in Guyana to Tobago. We are also looking at Miami direct to Tobago. So all of these additional direct flights with CAL, and then we are very advanced in some negotiations with some additional airlines for additional North American direct flights to Tobago.
The Secretary stressed the importance of fiscal autonomy in achieving the objectives and revealed the formation of 2 commissions to steer the island to self-governance.
We will aggressively negotiate a fair revenue sharing mechanism that allocates national revenues to Tobago based on an agreed upon fair share model. This financial independence will be supported by strategic political advocacy, formal negotiations, and roundtable dialogues.
The budget also focused heavily on climate resilience, environmental sustainability, and inclusivity. The requested figure is $400 million more than the THA asked for last fiscal year and represents a 6.6% of the projected national budget. Finance Minister Devindranath Tanku did not respond to calls or messages for response to the budget request up to news time. Stefan Nicholas, CNC3 News.
After all that conversation, it sounds good. When I look at the one with the farming and the having CPEP and thing work on farms, so food security. Wasn't that the same thing the People's National Movement doing with the shade program down Tucker Valley and all that? People didn't want that. Listen to him after. You see, you could take a pig out of a palace, put them in a pig out of a pigsty and put them in a palace. It will not change the nature of the pig. It will still make the palace come just like a pigsty. So after all that talk, Fally talking his suit and tie and thing, whatever, listen to him. Same suit and tie and everything. A question asked to him.
Stefan Nicholas, Guardian Media. We spoke about a pathway to prosperity. A key aspect of that is a healthy population. We saw over the weekend, Guardian Media reported from the division, high rates of STDs in Tobago. Given that we have the Tobago Carnival coming up, how concerned, what are the plans, and especially bridging the gap in terms of access to the private sector, the data there?
Well, Stefan, I hope you're putting a rubbers on your will, yeah? Because you are at risk too. But I could have Dr. Bremner speak about more competently speak about the plans. The plans, where that is concerned, yes.
Thank you.
And there's a big give for the rest of them. No kind of class. Where that come in? Instead of answering the guy to say, okay, I would let Dr. Faith deal with that because she's the Secretary of Health, all that. You have to ask about what they obsessed with, like, or they obsessed with small pill, or they obsessed with weed. That way you go tell a reporter if you put it, that going international, that sounding so classless. It's only on carnival time, you just get STD. People get STD every day. You have to talk about the fact that you will talk to people about proper sexual practices and to protect themselves, all that. You're asking the man if he put in something on the video. Look now, blasted classless, yes? Take a pig out a blasted stamp, put it in a house assembly, same damn thing they go bring the blasted house of assembly like this time. That is just an analogy. Let me continue. Not an allergy, an allergy. This is Miss Donna Haddad today.
Weekend, I was going through social media and a video came up, and it is the head of Sandals at this time. That's Mr. Stewart's son.
Adam.
Right? I can't remember his name.
Adam Stewart.
Yes, yeah, Adam. And he was, showing some of Sandals' facilities across the region. Jamaica, Bahamas, St. Vincent, and so on. And I was amazed by the product that he was highlighting here. And I am saying, if we are speaking about tourism, Trinidad and Tobago, then we have to reach that standard. And I don't know that we are anywhere that close to the facilities that they are offering, or that we are offering in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right, that's correct, and that takes me to two things. One, how we treat people when they come here to want to invest, or they are invited to invest. We treat people with scorn, and we reject people, as I spoke in the past about, with our dirty tongues. And we are very unwelcoming. Trinidad and Tobago needs to stop it. We need to recognize that we need to get off our high horse, and we need to recognize we all need each other, and we need the money that's out there to come in here. As I just said, we need new money. We can't depend on what is here. Number two, so we treated Adam and his family very badly and their product. I did sit in that meeting, I told you that, and to me, that was one of our biggest failings, that we did not encourage it and have it. And sometimes our people just oppose for opposing's sake. And if you listen to that presentation, and I keep saying it, somebody needs to expose it. They actually do a lot more than people speak about. Their offerings are not full all-inclusive. There are different packages that you can choose from. So there are packages with just breakfast. There are packages with breakfast and lunch. There are packages with no meals. So the whole myth and the concept that was put out there was incorrect, and we need to stop that behavior. Number two, the Castara story that we speak about community-based. I mean, is anybody really doing their research on Castara? Castara themselves are dead. Castara is not going to just, who is going to find their way all the way? Castara is going to be a beneficiary of people who come, and they are going to benefit from it. But Castara in itself cannot be an attraction, and we cannot have that all over Tobago and call that tourism. That speaks to, and then even Castara had their own problem. Didn't we kill a person in Castara? Didn't we kill the wrong person in Castara? Right? So we have to be careful what we are saying. Or is it that we've forgotten it because the life that was lost was not one of our own? You know, we have to be mindful of what we put out there.
Yes.
Castara tourism is also dead. When they speak of tourism is dead, Castara is not benefiting in any special way to anybody else. Castara is a product that they have kept in their community and developed. But is it that everybody's going to go Castara or go to each community for that type of tourism? I bet you not.
Yeah.
I'm sure not.
Diane Haddad, it's always a pleasure speaking with you.
All of them, in my opinion, is to blame it what happened with Sandal and thing, you know. So them go walk out, they walk out. So I hope the business chamber and Diane Haddad and where's his name, Martin George and all them, I hope they work together, because they seem to be talking something different and the reality seems to be different. While Sally talking about put plastic on your wiggy or condom on you, wherever the hell it is, them talking something different. So let me continue. You all know about the Wildflower Trust Park. I think that's it, a Wildflower Park Trust, or one out of the two. That is right or wrong by the Ministry of CARICOM and Foreign Affairs. Now, rare papyrus, that we call it papyrus. Me the name the plant, right? amongst items stolen from Palmy's Park. So this is an ex-park. This is not Wild Trust. This is an ex-park. We'll select Alexander to run up there and think like how he does go it the wildflower and they open it up for everybody, all kind of back and all. The people must enjoy it and all that. Well, they're taking the plants from an ex-park. This is Palmy's Park. I'm not sure which part this park is. But that's to tell you how things going. They're taking plants and all. So that person had to be a botanist, so that's what they call them, or somebody in herbalist or agriculturist or something to know that it's a rare plant. I don't know. Well, let's say around 40,000. Yeah, ramifications to that. Let me continue. So, I'm seeing here where TNT faces Herculean task to meet US $5 billion export target. And it is an article in The Guardian by Professor, what is his name again? Professor Roger Gosine or Gosine. I think it's Gosine. They ain't reading the whole thing because them just talk one thing, so the next thing, so papa. Cosine, yes, it's Cosine. Cosine side, this trend suggests that Trinidad and Tobago production structure has become increasingly less capable of meeting domestic demands with growing reliance on imported consumer goods and immediate inputs and capital equipment. It piqued my interest, so I go just read a paragraph. So this was the 20th of June, right? So 2 days ago. Trinidad and Tobago will need to achieve the largest expansion of non-energy exports in its history if it is to meet the government's target of generating an additional US $5 billion in energy exchange earnings by 2030, according to economist Professor Roger Hussain. But things going nice. In an analysis of the country's external sector and diversification strategy, Hussain stated that the urgency to expand non-energy export has intensified amid structural shift in the economy and a weakening external position. I'm glad for them. Thing nice. The country nice. They're getting oil and they're finding oils. And the gas contract, the energy contracts that BP and them do with Venezuela, they feel they go get real thing from that. There you go now. These people. Hello. Excuse me. Then I'm seeing here from Gregory Maguire, TNT Economic Scenarios 2026 to 2028. But the Minister of Finance set to deliver his mid-year budget review on June the 15th, well, that passed already. Now is the right moment to ask what economic future is Trinidad actually heading into. Here's a brief overview of 3 plausible scenarios through 2028. One scenario, or scenario 1, managed transition, also known as better days are coming. Natural gas supply slow from the Laurel Manatee field, while the Dragon field is renegotiated by Shell, producing by 2027-28. Commerce and tourism pull real non-energy growth. GDP reaches between 2 to 3% by 2028, achievable, but only with sustained policy discipline across an election cycle. So that's scenarios that Gregory Maguire is setting out. Scenario 2, prolonged stagnation most likely, turbulence ahead. Tighten your seatbelts. Dragon stays delayed. Petrochemical capacity continues shrinking post-nutrient. FX shortages remain chronic. GDP hovers at 0.5 to 1.5%. Nothing breaks, but nothing changes. Most organizations are already planning for this scenario without realizing it. Scenario 3, acute shock or crop or smoke with pipe. A combination of falling LNG prices, a failed Dragon project, stalled diversification efforts, including a stillborn revitalization blueprint, and a credit downgrade could trigger a balance of payment crisis. In response, government spending would be cut sharply, the HFS would fall below USD 2 billion, and the IMF program will become likely. Organizations without a prepared response plan would scramble. Those that plan ahead will adapt. Regardless of what scenario unfolds, three things remain consistent. FX risk management is non-negotiable. Talent retention must be intentional. Boards that plan against one forecast are exposed. He said, let's talk. What signals are you watching for in the June 15th reviews, right? So that would have passed, but that was his view on those things, Mr. McGuire. And I think he is some type of economist or international specialist or something, with somebody who has the authority to speak as he is speaking. I saw something also by Mr. Vassan Bharat, which I'm not going to read. I'm just going to put up, and you all could read it at your leisure. Go find it. That is too much for me. Government rhetoric undermining confidence in, and my logo blocking the whole damn thing. So I don't know. I'm not sure what the word is there. Right, so you all go find it and see what Vassan Bharat have to say. But everybody talking about the economy, so it's not right. Government rhetoric undermining confidence in Trinidad and Tobago. So you can just imagine the conversation that he's having. Everybody's concerned about the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, of which we should also be concerned. Yeah, but this government does not have a history of good management of the economy. That's a fact. That is a fact, right? So I saw this as a news article, Trinidad Express, 14, well, it's not 14 hours ago, so today, U.S. Navy SEALs to help fight crime. Anna Randa's story, and it's pretty lengthy. We ain't going to read this whole thing. Honestly, only find it and only could read it. Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Visesa, let me just put a picture here. Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Visesa has disclosed that as the United States continues to play a role in assisting Trinidad and Tobago, this country will be getting more vessels and military personnel to protect its borders. She noted yesterday that contrary to what existed under the former People's National Movement administration, the country's borders were secure. More Coast Guard vessels were operating daily, and the radar system was functional. The reports are pointing to a decrease in drugs flowing into the country from South America, but it is still continuing through coastal areas in South, Southwest, and Central Trinidad. The Carinita-Marabella coastline continues to be a problem, especially areas covered by mangroves and squatter communities. The coastal squatter communities are heavily infiltrated by criminal and gangs, she said in response to a question from the Express by phone. She added, "We will be getting some additional vessels from the U.S. in the coming months. The American military and intelligence agency are also increasing their presence in Trinidad to assist our crime-fighting initiatives." Prasad Visesa also disclosed that there are some currently U.S. Navy SEAL team members in the country handling logistics for a larger deployment of SEALs teams to Trinidad and Tobago. And I just going to leave it there because I remember the Honorable Prime Minister would have said when Dr. Rowley and they was going to buy the OPVs, Mr. Manning, the OPVs, and we had the blimp, and you had the SIA or SI, whatever, Garden Intelligence. Men went away to study and think to come back to work and all that. So you're locking down things tight and all that. They said that the land, the fight is on the war is not on the seas, on the land. They scrap every damn thing. Then they make bacchanal with Dr. Rowley, and then was trying to buy the Damon vessel. They write to the opposition in Australia, telling them something to the effect that the Trinidad government and the Australian government was in some kind of criminal bacchanal and act and all that. The Damon vessels wasn't thing it make wherever the OPVs, and Brazil or wherever buy them or some other country buy it, and all kind of bacchanal, right? But now, and we heard the police recently say that the SOE's working crime is down, and the commissioner of police was boasting about it, and things were going good and the men are overworked and tired, which they should be if they're doing all this good work, and overtime money is due to them, and which they should get if they're working overtime, and they're stressed and all that from the hard work and all that. And bam, now we hear Navy SEAL coming to fight crime. I don't understand it because I look up Navy SEALs, right? And it says here, U.S. Navy SEALs, Sea, Air, and Land, are the military premier maritime special operation force. They execute highly covert, dangerous missions such as counterterrorism, hostage rescue, and reconnaissance in almost any environment. Operating with extreme stealth and precision, they are best known for conducting strategic strikes against high-value targets. While their name highlights their ability to operate in every domain, their core mission includes direct action, short duration, high-impact strikes used to seize, capture, or destroy enemy weapons, facilities, and high-value personnel. So I just want to ask, right? What enemies it is that America have in Trinidad that the Navy SEALs are here? I don't get it. I just ask it based on what I see that us do. It is nothing here about fighting crime on land or anything like that. Special reconnaissance, covertly gathering critical intelligence behind enemy lines or in hostile denied areas. No, I didn't know we was enemy lines, and we didn't know we was hostile denied areas. I don't know, I just asking. Counterterrorism, rapid response operation to disrupt terrorist activities, dismantle bomb-making facilities, and rescue hostages. Again, I didn't know we have that type of issue here. I thought crime was gun-related crime, marijuana, the cocaine, petty crime. I don't know. I'm not in the security system, so I don't know. I just asking, right? Because I just watch TV. I like all my Navy show. I love to see them movies and them Navy SEAL. Listen, I just say me, I could see myself training, so but then I study, you see that training, me ain't gonna last too long with that training, them things they just do. But I like to see how they carry the operation and thing, and I say, oh God, they're not easy. Die movie, die TV, right? It's a different thing when you think about it in life. Okay. Unconventional warfare, organizing, training, and advising indigenous resistance or guerrilla forces in enemy-controlled territory. Again, the words kind of confuse me. Guerrilla forces, enemy-controlled territory, organizing and training indigenous resistance again. Where we have guerrilla forces and enemy-controlled territory. You could leave from here and go to Carcass and somebody go see and do and call on a phone and say, hey, look, Jenny down in the Carcass. What's she doing down here? Hey, look, I don't understand this. This is not like America that have 51 states and one of the states have 4 times more than the people we have. You could lose some in America. You can't lose in Trinidad. Again, I don't know much about the security thing, eh? I just know I see on TV. Foreign internal defense. Training and assisting allied foreign militaries to improve their own combat readiness and regional stability. Right? And they continue for tips on how the SEALs actually operate and maintain peak physical conditions during these complex missions. I don't know. All they tell me now. Right? Let me continue. Hey, Lord Father. It's not heaven help us, you know. The ancestors help we, you know. Oh God, help all the children, you know. So now, I really did see a piece of bacchanal on Facebook, but I didn't take it on. I see a woman talking, understand how she's an older man, and complaining that the mayor of San Fernando and them and whatever was cutting a field. Now, the mayor in San Fernando, I think his name is Robert Paris. He does do a lot of work and get people to come out for free and cut areas where have plenty grass. Because remember, they send them 10,000, they fire 10,500 separate workers, European workers, reforestation workers. So the whole place in a mess, and who they hire back now on some new or nukes or mops or whatever it is, must be about 200 people or 1,000 people, something, can't do the work. So like the whole of San Fernando looking that kind of way, and Mayor Paris, and just get people and then just go and cut areas and things. So the woman make a video talking about how something to the effect that TNM make it bacchanal and something, right? So the mayor, I didn't save it because I was like, what's she talking about? But now I vex, I didn't save it because it would have come in nice for me to show what she talking and where the mayor talking. But here we're going on. Let me still play what the mayor, let us play what the mayor talking about, right? You will still get the info.
Right? But at the end of the day, them didn't come to do nothing here. They just come here to see what it is happening to cause conflict. In politics, there's something called silly season. And I was here. When the alderman came, I realized that she came to maybe cause a conflict. I told her good morning. I told the councillor as well when he came good morning. Because again, this property belongs to the San Fernando City Corporation, and we have been discussing over the months that we want to do a bit of upgrading here because Skinner Park is overutilized. We want to start to bring some community sports, school sports, and different things here. Very unfortunate. I go through it almost every week with that individual. But the best thing, brother, when it comes to her, is just to walk away, right? I know that you were provoked because she came here and she was provoking. So she really tried to get me to say something, and I will not fall for the alderman's antics. I will not do it, right? We are here for the community. Councillor made requests, right? I'm saying it on record. Councillor made requests, but also remember this is an asset of the San Fernando City Corporation, and as the mayor of San Fernando, what I did was I used my ability to mobilize. I got some volunteers here. He was saying to me, I am going to find out and make a request to find out who are the people here and what they were doing. Everyone here are volunteers. And it is quite unfortunate, but that is how the politics is and that is how that individual is.
Right, you see, she went and make a piece of bacchanal. Right, but the mayor, big up to the mayor because it's not the first time I see him cleaning and getting a group of people to volunteer to come. Big up to the people of San Fernando who standing up in defense of the community, in defense of the city of San Fernando. It ain't really right that all you have to do this thing for free, but you know what? All you make a decision that here what's going on. We will look at the bigger picture, patriotism. Thank you all for your service. Thank you for your service. While all that happening, I hear they can't find the Minister of Sports. So listen to this.
I want to talk about this person behind me here. The last time he came to Parliament and spoke is when he tried to use my name and others and said we were unqualified. This incompetent Minister of Youth Affairs, Sport and Youth Affairs. Where is he? Where is he? What is he doing in the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs today? When last did you hear a report or any update regarding the Ministry of Youth Affairs work from this man here? Remember last year they had some big PR stunts called up recruitment drive in Couva, and thousands of young hopefuls flocked Couva and other areas in hopes to get employment. Well, that was quickly shut down because, of course, nobody was hired in that recruitment drive. It stalled, and of course, young people today are still on the breadline, waiting and hoping for some opportunity to come their way. Now, I raise this because people see me every day in Point Fortin and otherwise asking and pleading, asking me if I know who is hiring, and the fact is I don't know. There is no opportunities available. Nothing is being done to stimulate the economy, to generate employment. Normally, in the Ministry of Youth, under Foster Cummins, even if there was employment, there were opportunities to make persons more employable. There were programs that had stipends, many of which had stipends. There are programs that gave young people an opportunity to make their own living, even if there wasn't a job available. And what have they done? They cut and they stopped, and they were so proud to stop all of these programs. And for what? Now today, you are seeing young people who are literally begging for an opportunity. And why must they? This is the same government that would have cut $45 million from OJT. The same government that would have ended the micro small business grant scheme at NEDCO that gave up to 1,000, I think, yes, 1,000 persons a year, $20,000 to start a business, that has been cut and ended off with immediately upon these people return to office. So it begs the question, who are really winning under the UNC? Because it is not the young people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, boy, you hit the nail on the head. I think he's an older man in South North, but I know he's still working in the Ministry of Youth Development National Services because it's the same. And when I see him little function, he's having a little hat, a nice little hat thing, so he could dress, you know. Hello. Watch my say, you give them. Anyway, Trinidad, man, you asked a very, very important question. Me answering it, but you asked a very important question. And Sarah, yes, girl, if it was Dr. Rowley that say them thing, where Fally talk about put this on you, whoever, they would have had the worst to say about him, yeah? But anybody else could talk and say anything. Me, Papa. And Monica, listen to me. You serious with this thing they gave me food cards? You serious, Monica, where you get that talk from? That we getting food card for we money instead of money, we getting food card? Retirees and people in the public. Look, you making a joke, yes, you want me to laugh. I even feel to laugh right now, no? Because my cuss instead. Let me continue, eh? So listen to our Honorable Prime Minister speaking about reinstatement of OWTU rights. I think I would have mentioned it on Friday. And I'm saying, I'm happy for OWTU, yeah, you get whatever. But is it that you're telling people that you are going to interfere with the Section 70 in the Industrial Relations and that speaks about your right to join any union of your choice or not join any union of your choice? They're forcing on union. But why are they forcing everything down? Look, listen to she here, Papa.
Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar says government is moving to correct what it describes as an injustice to workers through the Miscellaneous Provisions Bill now before the Parliament. Speaking on the eve of Labor Day before Friday's sitting of the House of Representatives, the Prime Minister said the legislation will restore successor rights for the Oilfield Workers Trade Union at Paria Fuel Trading Company, Guaracara Refining Company Limited, and Heritage Petroleum.
And we are here to do a short but very powerful bill, short title, a vesting bill, in order to give successorship rights to the OWTU for Paria Trading and for Heritage Petroleum. The PNM in 2018 had shut down Petrotrain, but did not grant successorship rights. So the OWTU has been the union there from since 1937 for all the oil companies in all their various incarnations and names. So we want to right historical wrong, and it is grounded, this thrust that we are on today is grounded in social justice and a respect for the rights of workers and for the collective bargaining process.
If they had to interfere with people's rights to be a part of any union they want to or not into, I don't find that fair. I don't mind giving OWT some successorship thing because I know they're looking, this is my opinion. Since the Petrotrain has been restructured and we have Paria and Heritage now that is paying off the debt of Petrotrain, erosion, and them they're getting big money. They just want to talk about that part. Anyhow, we will talk about that the next day. And then, you know, another company had closed down that they had the members and whatever. It appeared to me like they really have money. And it is alleged. It is alleged, people, they say it is alleged that no. That's the next thing. I don't know if the OWTU constitution says you could be old like Moses and you can still be the President General of OWTU. I don't know. I don't have the people constitution. I have ours PSM. I know at 60, just like in the public service, he needs to ride out. But he has been there for a while. He doesn't have a bargaining unit, but he still runs PS. He still runs OWTU, but not only that. I remember seeing Ozzy America said before, I thought about the same proper. He was such a young, nice, vibrant young man, and people used to say, yes, he will take over. The man whole face great. He had big, big of what he getting all, just like we walk into a stick and Roger still standing straight and he can get to run OWTU. I'm giving an opinion. So I'm saying, giving another opinion. So all them people that was losing is money. So if the companies that they have MRU status to represent clothing and thing, Trinidad Cement, Yara, whatever, and thing, less money coming in the coffers. So now, is it just simply about the money? Because if they hold on Parry and Heritage, everybody has to be a part of the union, has to pay their fees. Is it about just the money and not really about the right of the workers? So we have to look at that. But I happy workers getting the coverage from a union and all that, but it's about money because, as I was telling all you, it is alleged that Roger does get $90,000 a month. I say no, I can't be a certain part of my head. So, because I remember at that time, I used to be telling all you, the now Minister of Labour, it was alleged his salary was 50,000 more. So in PSA, General Council never approved that. And they say he did like to eat nice. His lunch bill every day was alleged was $500 a day. They say he liked the salmon and the seafood and basmati rice and two fat boy coconut water and vegetables from a restaurant somewhere in Marathon. I just saying what the people say is alleged. So I know they like nice thing and I know they like big salary. So I don't know. But again, congratulations to OWTU. And I see, darling, oh God, you get gray. You get gray waiting for Roger to hand over. You see like how, what's his name? Aaron McLeod. If he's alive, if he is, how you going, Mr. McLeod? If he's not, rest in peace. Yes, how, when McLeod became the Minister of Labour, they say he handed OWTU over to Roger because, you know, Roger is a walkover. You know, Roger had no fight. Roger not a weeks and nothing. So they say it's alleged, but you know what? Roger hold on and like us, he ain't getting a chance to run this thing at all. He just the research and education, research something. Probably he just happy there, I don't know, but he just get old and Roger looking young. So I don't know if Roger's sucking me. You know, it's have people that suck your energy. And you just start to get criminal down so and then get anything. I don't know. Anyway, let me continue. So OWTU declined to take position on no zone protest. This was in the CNC3 News, a story by Darius Polo, right? Me reading the whole thing, no? The oil field work, if I should have taken a picture for it, I want to send this picture, director sending a picture for you now, because people might feel I just talking and making joke and saying that Ozzy Merrick looking like the snowman. I'm going to send it for you now. People only bear with me. Eh? Let me crop this picture or just call it. I know the words and them not cropping it. Crop. Hello. That time I don't know how to do this. So let me just send it there for she to put it up. Only go see for yourself. And tell me if I telling tales. Come on, man, Ting, come. Tell me if I'm telling tales. Right, director, I just sent you a picture there. Could you please put it up? Put along some picture or something and put up that. So let me read the damn thing. So yes, as I was saying, you put it up yet? Where's she? She going on she fridge, she got movie or something, you know. OWT declines to take position on no zone protest. It says here, the Oilfield Workers Trade Union has declined to say whether it supports the government decision to designate 15 no protest zones across Trinidad and Tobago, distancing itself from a growing dispute that has seen 13 trade unions threaten legal action over the measure. Well, in my opinion, they must want to say nothing because they might not get to be the RMU union, succession union to Parry and Heritage, so they must keep the peace because they want to rock the boat. I don't know. The restriction introduced during the ongoing state of emergencies have drawn criticism from a coalition of unions calling itself the Progressive Independent Trade Unions. The group has argued that the designated zone could undermine workers' constitutional rights to protest and assemble. However, OWTU President General Ansel Roger stopped short of joining the criticism when questioned by Guardian Media on the issue. I ain't saying no more because it seemed to me keep quiet because he wanted to make sure that they go through, in my opinion. Let me see, Director. Right. Tell me if I talking stupidness. Watch it. Look at the man next. Oh God. Look at that one. He looking chocolate. That one in the middle there. Ugh. It's at the time it's like all the consummate dance, you know, that one in the middle there. The middle are Roger and the man with the grey beard. Right. So now that we figure out who is who. The one in the middle there used to be president of PSA. And the one there at the side is Roger. Look how Roger looking. Look how Ozzy Merrick looking. Ozzy Merrick wasn't Grace too. Ozzy Merrick looking like he's a snowman. He could play Santa Claus or something if people still believe in that. Waiting, you know. Waiting must to run OWT. I don't know. Look, anyway. None of the Rasta man with the stick all in. Don't go and say the Rasta man and the Rasta man standing there regal and thing with his stick. Rastafari. I'm talking about the little short man there with the big gray beard. Oh God, was he? He was a young fella just sucking your dry. Waiting and waiting. Wait like Dorothy. So I really know more of this because OWT ain't going to say nothing to upset them scene. That's my opinion, right? So them don't mind if you want to protest and down by the Red House, you're standing quite up on Piccadilly to protest. What the sense I make go in some bush somewhere, wherever it is, 500 feet, so you have to walk with a measuring tape, and you have to have people who is carpenters who know to measure, seamstress, tailor, and all them kind of thing, because me ain't got the measurements, so for sure, me ain't going to try to protest there because I might miscalculate the 500 meters and end up where they say it's not 5 and all kind of back. So I want to go in at people who is tailor, who is seamstress, who is and mason and architect who can measure good. So when they say 500, I know we save. But then again, with the sense, it will lose its appeal. I don't know. Let me continue. But OWTU in it for themselves. That's my opinion. So I've seen something else here. Give me a minute. Yeah, but no. It is right here. So all I know is double cut down at Pfizer on Friday. I didn't make a live. I did something. I make a live. And the background, I calling on Felicia Thomas and she shame. She sell out PSA, whatever. And she pelting, she flags, so and all kind of thing. Me take she on because me have time with that. When I show people she pity and thing, they say, what? That girl looking like she's sick. I didn't think about that. I just said, home girl slim down and thing because she did big and buff. She was big and juicy, luscious kind of thing, big soap. She was walking on the stage when she said, me man, stuff that. She did all over, right? No home girl could walk through raindrops. I just said, well, she's slim down, how you mean money running nice, she on the board of directors and CRHA. She get permanent working, WASA, big salary. I don't know if she get any salary, but big position, big salary, and then she's the president of PSS. So money nice. So I say, home girl must be taking the new drug where we all of them that take. The one what was for really diabetes, so weight loss and for diabetes. And then they realize people losing weight with it and they start to use it. So, but when I show people the picture, she say, she looking sick. Girl, I hope you're not sick. I wish you health, wealth, and strength. Yes, Papa. Anywho, so as I was saying, I was down there and thing, and I make my video and thing and call she out because things ain't going right. And now Miss, what's she name? Monica talking about we getting food cards. So so down at that march was Miss Alyssa Phillip, the young lady who has been doing her protest for justice for her friends, Joshua Samuel and Kia Seeley. She went to school at Kia, so Joshua was Kia's boyfriend, husband, mate, whatever you want to call it, and he got killed and she got paralyzed with gunshots. So this young lady has been out there asking for justice and transparency. She did 19 protests, and I think this one she did up at Labor Day was the last one. That was the 19th. And we know the story. She was arrested, although Mr. Anisette would have told them he invited her to come. And as I told you all already, Labor Day wasn't just for labor issues and people with labor issues and labor rights and all that. It's people with social issues also could join the march. I myself, I didn't want to march with PSA at all because you kind of must get me on my nose, and Anyway, I marched with Cipriani Labour College. So I know it could be done on a wave flag, and I danced in the road to Stalin music and to the drums. I had a good time. I can't remember what that is now, but I digress. So anyhow, so she was out there, and she was marching. Not marching. She was in the procession, the celebration of Uriah Butler and whatever social issues you have. I heard this guy had on a jersey saying no to drugs and no to this and no to that, no to that. And the police let him take it off. So I don't know if it should have yes to that and yes to this and yeah. Because if he said no, that's a good thing. But I just don't get it, right? Everything seems to be upside down. So Ms. Phillip has been charged. So listen to Ms. Anisette here.
The arrest of Alyssa Phillip and her mother during Labor Day celebrations has escalated into a major confrontation between the trade union movement and the police service. At a news conference today, NATO General Secretary Michael Anisette said the unions are seeking legal advice on what he described as a matter that goes beyond one arrest.
Because this is not a simple matter, right? I believe it has some constitutional issues in what transpired. I'm not going to pronounce it, and we are engaging senior counsel to discuss it so that they will guide us in terms of the constitutionality that we see that was breached by the police.
He also rejected a police position that Phillips had no authority to participate in the march, arguing that citizens and activists have historically joined Labor Day celebrations. Anisette said he invited Phillip to march with the Seamen and Waterfront Workers Trade Union and questioned the legal basis for her arrest.
The first point we have to pay attention to: was the young lady allowed to make a statement before the march started, as other trade unionists was allowed to do? Yes, she was allowed. Was the commissioner of police present when she was making the statement, another police officer? Yes. The fact that she was allowed to make a statement before the march started, where other labor leaders was allowed to make their statements, tells you something. So it is a contradiction.
Anisette said he believes the incident highlights a wider concern about the relationship between citizens and law enforcement. He said the police role in Labor Day is focused on the route and not who participates.
At what point in time they determined that the young lady and her mother could not participate in a march that was open to all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago?
OWTO First Vice President Sati Gajada Innes also defended Phillips' participation, challenging police to identify who they consulted before claiming she was not authorized to march.
They need to clearly identify who they would have spoken to and bring the evidence as such.
The police service defended its action on Saturday, saying officers acted within their mandate, but they have not responded to today's media conference despite attempts to contact them. Otto Carrington, CNC3 News.
Some people are trying to justify what happened. I understand fully, as I tell already, Mr. Anisette is my favorite person, however, but Mr. Anisette is not a little small fry in the dance. Mr. Anisette is the General Secretary of NATO, the umbrella body, the center, trade union center that a lot of unions are under, and that is recognized internationally and regionally and locally, right? Unlike JTERM and FITERM. So he is a big deal in that respect. So if he invite somebody to come have a social issue to march with him, walk with him in the protest, if you have a problem, then you have to take it to Mr. Anisette who invite them, because if he didn't invite them, they wouldn't come. Why? Anyway, anyways, then we continues. I lost my train of thought there, you know? Anyways. Oh, I see people playing a part of the video where Miss Alyssa Phillips had some type of tugging and thinging with the police, and the father had to come or somebody pull away, whatever, and people said, oh, she was getting on. So let me tell you something. This young lady, I think, is 25 years old. She has been carrying this weight in this work advocacy for her friend. She's seeing her friend is paralyzed. She know the friend is going through what people saying about the friend and all that. Those things are everything to carry on you. And then you're doing these protests because you're convicted. You have a conviction in your belly to do this thing and you're doing it. It does take a toll on you. And every time you do it now, riot police coming out, they want to arrest you, they arrest you and your mother. Those things does have, because she's not somebody accustomed doing those things. So it will, even people who are accustomed doing protests, this thing happen, that does have an effect on you. So down in Labor Day again, after she was invited, and I'm sure she know who Mr. Anisette was, and thought it would be okay, and then the scene with the police, all that, it will have an effect on you. So even if for a moment or 2 minutes or whatever, she may have had a little, that is not justification to say that what happened to she is good for she, whatever. Come now, man. As Naira Blackman, so I have empathy now. I walk Labor Day several times. That walk real long. What does make it thing? I'll be dancing, going from group to group and talking and meeting this one and that. That ain't easy all day. With the other umbrella, we walk real long. When I finish, all my clothes soaking wet with sweat because real walk. And imagine you're under that kind of pressure and the heat and all that. I may not be drinking enough water, all that, and then the police come and have you, right? So come now, don't judge the young lady by that part of the whole thing, right? She was invited and things went a different way, and the law, as Mr. Annie said, say they will seek legal advice and treat and deal with that. So listen to her here, and this is Alyssa's message.
Those in positions of authority, I say this, the people are not your enemies, the people are your employers. The authority you exercise comes from the people. The resources you administer belong to the people. The institutions you lead exist to serve the people. So listen to the people, respect the people, answer the people. Let our courage be unwavering. Let our commitment to truth never falter. History teaches us that power often resists accountability, but history also teaches us that ordinary people, united by principle, can change nations. The future of Trinidad and Tobago will not be decided by fear. It will not be decided by silence. It will not be decided by intimidation. It will be decided by citizens who refuse to abandon truth, justice, fairness, and democracy. Let Labor Day be remembered as the day we reaffirm that no institution is greater than the people. No office is greater than the Constitution. No authority is greater than justice. And no power is greater than truth. Justice, truth, accountability for every citizen, for every family, for Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, and may God bless our nation.
Over to the people!
Look now, everything upside down, yeah? Thing upside down. We should be so proud. A young person stand up non-violent, talking in defense of a friend, showing what friendship, showing resilience, showing commitment. And thing upside down, thing upside down. We are upside down right now. As I didn't hear the situation, but I ended up seeing it on social media. I'm kind of disturbed about it because I did psychology at Open Campus. I don't have a degree in psychology, but I have enough. I have a certification in psychology from Open Campus UA. And I can have a conversation on psychology, yeah? Things that affect the emotions. And I can't do that. I can't diagnose, I can't prescribe. That is for psychiatrists and psychologists. I ain't one, right? But I can have a conversation. So I understand that on, I think, Iron Dependency, if I'm not mistaken, on I-95.5, on Father's Day, they called Joshua Samuel's father. Now, Joshua Samuel is the gentleman who Alyssa Phillip is marching for, along with a friend. He was killed. I won't go through how it happened and whatever. And they called a gentleman on Father's Day to have a conversation. And in talking, he said certain things. And you know what I said to myself? Why would you call this man on Father's Day? He didn't get closure for his son yet. It just happened last year. He's still hurting because 1 minute he says this and 1 minute he says the next thing. So the man clearly is going through an emotional thing. You call him on Father's Day to have a conversation. What are they expected? It come like, oh, let's set up this man. This man in an emotional, vulnerable state. One day to the next, you don't know how he could be thinking because you're grieving. No closure for his son here. And when they're saying about his son and all them things, all they call him Father's Day. He didn't have no other day to call this gentleman. Father's Day. You don't know how the son used to treat him, how he used to treat the son. You don't know the relationship and all them things come back to this man. All they call this man on Father's Day. No, the man get locked up. So listen to Rambles. I ain't repeating what he say or nothing, but bad move. And all the zero people who get over drugs and domestic abuse, which is emotional things. So nothing then come to all you collectively to say, no, let me leave this man alone. Was it for likes? Or was it to boost listenership? What was it? Because I'm trying to understand. Listen to Rambo.
Everybody in this man's life seems to be feeling him, and you all need to stop that. Starting with, why was he even on the radio in the first place? We have seen him give conflicting statements before. Bro is still grieving. He just lost his son a few months ago, and you all saw it fit to put him on a radio station, on a show, on Father's Day. Shame to whoever invited him to that program on that day. Shame to the radio station for having realized, yeah boy, things going left and still letting it air. I know you all have a delay. You will have at least a 5 to 10-second delay. You could have cut that part out. Shame on you all for broadcasting it. Shame to this attorney. When it comes to attorneys, you get what you pay for. And right now, it seems like he got this one for free. I want you all to remember something. Do you remember when Ulla Christopher got out and she had the press conference? Do you remember how that press conference went down? Let me remind you all.
I have advised her that though she wishes to speak, this is not the time. So if you have any questions, please direct them to me.
You see that? You get it? You understand it? Let me give you an next example. Do you remember when the firearms dealer went to the police station to clear his name on something that was taking place and he came out? Do you remember who was speaking to the media?
In fact, we are cooperating in terms of this investigation that's undergoing. We are, again, the matter is very sensitive, but my main concern was to ensure that my client is not facing any liability of arrest or being a suspect.
Now that you all understand the point, explain to me what was taking place here.
What is the truth? The truth is, that is totally ludicrous. I didn't mean it like that. I was cut halfway.
Meanwhile, the attorney standing there staring into the wilderness looking uneasy. Bro, this is your job. You are supposed to be the one speaking on behalf of your client. And the following clip is going to demonstrate exactly why that should have been so.
One question again. Would it be safe or would I be correct in saying that you're talking from a place of grief emotion? Because, I mean, I know it's not easy what you've been January to now. But tell me where you're coming from.
Do you all see what just took place? The journalist said, is it safe to assume that you're coming from a place of grief? Which we all know he's coming from. And rather than being savvy enough to say, yeah, and break down crying, he replied, no.
Would it be safe or would I be correct in saying that you're talking from a place of grief emotion? Because, I mean, I know it's not easy what you've been January to now. But tell me where...
Boss man, I don't know, yeah? I hope you see this video. Yeah, what to do? Going forward, don't say nothing. If the media contact you, hang up your phone. Don't do no radio interviews, no phone interviews. Don't send no voice notes discussing the situation because they see anything set. They will take your words literally and detain you. Don't fall into the trap.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened, but that man needs some type of guidance, the right one. And as Rambles they rightly say, please don't say nothing. They ask you, might be tempted. If you want to put a tape across your mouth so you know you can't move your mouth to talk, stop talking. Stop talking, right? Okay. I want to move into a little area here. I call it upside down. I'm starting upside down. I would have put up a post on my page. I entitled Upside Down. And I had a picture of the opposition leader, Trinidad and Tobago, at Labor Day. I didn't see her, but I saw the Minister of Finance, Dave Tanku. I saw him there taking pictures by poster and thing, and I was like, anyways. So when I came good coming home or whatever, watching my phone and stuff, I saw the opposition leader in picture with Dave Tanku. Now, The issue is this, to me, is this. The Minister of Finance, with his government, because of the measures they are taking and all the taxes and all that, the whole country under stress. They fire over 40,000 people, 10,500 CPF workers, most vulnerable. You opposition leader had them down there when Prime Minister Modi come to march around the square and all them thing, and the police that stop all that. So you understand it, and they keep saying it's pain and all kind of things that they'll be saying wherever. All the hardship is going through ever. You down there on Labor Day. Labor Day for injustice against workers. And you taking pity with Dave Tanku. I don't understand that. And I don't want nobody tell me nothing about it's diplomacy and why they don't talk to each other. No. It's context, place, time. How and why. Yeah? Okay. So I will put up the picture and an observation I said, you did not present in Parliament, which is true, on the very important bill that dealt with the allocation of millions of dollars to different ministries, 3.3 billion supplemental bill. However, you're in Labor Day celebration with Tanku. This man is the worst finance minister ever. He has the country in a financial mess, thousands filed, and you're in photo. By my opinion, because I hear people crying every day. I have people working in school who are school social workers or whatever, and I hear they complaining what's happening with children and that kind of thing. I'm hearing people talking about children not able to go to school and all these kinds of things because they're already on the ground. You they will think. You take pity outside, you take pity inside some office, okay. Some one of them high-ranking PNM in the executive take what I post. I don't ever call it photoshopped it or whatever the case may be. And this is what the person acted. On Monday, June the 29th, 2026, it will be 1 year since the Honorable Penelope Beckers-Robinson was elected unopposed as political leader of the PNM. Since that time, a group of PNM individuals have engaged in an all-out social and traditional media war, not against the UNC, but against the political leader of the PNM, publicly making derogatory and disrespectful comments that are inimical to the progress of the party in this critical time. They seem to believe that they can cause a shift in political and or opposition leadership in the PNM outside of the constitutional provisions. And they are working night and day to achieve this. Such persons are solely misguided as their campaign, and such action are to be condemned. This party is 70 years old and has stood the test of time by adherence to its constitution. Attempts to deviate from the constitution and its principles have proven to do us much harm rather than good. Through the efforts of those who have and continue to place the PNM above themselves and their narrow interests, this party has prevailed through good and bad times. The PNM is bigger than the ambition of any group of people or any person or group and must be protected, not dragged into disrepute by the actions of a few. United we stand, divided we fall. Let us take a stand together to build rather than to tear down. Great is the PNM. I agree with her. Great is the PNM because the author of this is Dr. Nayan Doligaski. So I agree with her, great is the PNM, and I agree with her that the PNM is bigger than the ambitions of any personal group. But I want to know if she understands that. And I also want to say, when have I ever disrespected or made derogatory remarks about the opposition leader? What I say about the opposition leader is she's politically weak. She has done nothing remarkable, mediocre. That is not derogatory. Those are terms used to express somebody lack of professionalism. Well, that is not an insult or derogatory, right? Okay. And haven't we always been here standing up against the ills that the UNC doing? So it's okay when we say all kind of thing about UNC, but the PNM, for wanting to have better accountability and proper leadership, we can't say that, right? So after Madam Lau put up that, Dr. Nayan Gaski put up that, this is what somebody responded, not my words. They said, Dr. Nayan Gaski Dolly, writes that the PNM has survived 70 years because of its adherence to the Constitution, and the attempts to deviate from it have caused the party harm. On this point, she's correct. The problem is that her words are completely inconsistent with her conduct. The last person who should be lecturing PNM members about constitutional adherence is Dr. Gaspy Dolly herself. When she illegally occupied the office of the party chairman following a deeply controversial general council election, many members regarded the process as fraudulent, rigged, and being inconsistent with both the letter and spirit of the party constitution and its democratic tradition. Before speaking about constitutional fidelity, she should first address the concerns surrounding the process that elevated her to that office. But there is a second and even more troubling issue. As Lady Vice Chairman and a member of the General Council, Dr. Gaspy Dolly sat in the audience at a PNM meeting in Laventille, where Youth Officer Kareem Marcel made comments that many members considered offensive, divisive, discriminatory, and contrary to Article 210 of the PNM Constitution. To date, she did not call for retraction. She did not demand an apology. She did not invoke the Constitution. She remained silent. That silence is important because it exposes the selective manner in which constitutional principles are being applied by her. Where was Dr. Gaspy Dolly when constitutional requirements within the party were being ignored? Where was her concern when monthly meetings required under the Constitution were not being convened by committees under the responsibilities as PNM PRO, Faris Alwari, and SC, and SMO, that is the social media officer, Simon De Nobrega? Where was outrage when the General Secretary failed to present the party's financial statement to the General Council as required by the Constitution? Where was the defense of constitutional principles when all 13 PNM members of Parliament were not invited to choose from amongst themselves an opposition leader? On each of these matters, Dr. Gaspy Dolly was silent. Yet today, she seeks to portray members who raise concerns as enemies of the party and condemns those who publicly express dissatisfaction with the political leader and the current executive. That position is deeply troubling. The PNM is not a cult. It is not a private club. It is a political institution whose members have the right to question, criticize, and hold their leaders accountable. Freedom of expression does not cease when one enters Balise House. Many of the members now being attacked by Dr. Gaspy Dolly and others within the leadership are not enemies of the PNM. They are loyal members exercising their right to speak about the direction of the party, the conduct of its leadership, and the failure of and the future of a movement they have loved and supported for decades. What is damaging the PNM is not dissent. What is damaging the PNM is the growing tendency of a small group within the leadership to use bullying, intimidation, and public shaming to silence legitimate criticism and demand unquestioning obedience. A party founded on democracy, participation, and respect for different views should never fear debate. It should fear the day when members become afraid to speak. Dr. Gaspy Dolly wishes to speak about adherence to the Constitution. Then she must first explain her silence when constitutional principles were ignored by those within her own ranks. The Constitution cannot be a weapon used against critics while serving as a shield for allies. It must apply equally to everyone or it means nothing at all. And the person just say, I'm just reminding. Again, that was not me. Right? That's somebody who responded to what she said. Now, recently again, MPs for San Fernando East would have written a letter to the General Secretary. It was published in the, I think it was Guardian. The reporter was Gail Alexander. And it says here, the Opposition People's National Movement leadership is expected to examine internally a letter from San Fernando East MP Brian Manning calling for action on concerns raised by members of the constituency, including an alleged conflict of interest involving a PNM executive member who also heads the constituency executive. The development comes as the PNM prepares for constituency elections on July the 1st. Following the issues outlined in Manning's letter, a cross-section of San Fernando East members expressed a profound lack of confidence in the current constituency executive capacity to fairly, neutrally, and transparently administer the constituency's upcoming internal processes, particularly in instances where incumbent officers intend to stand for re-election. Manning's letter was addressed to the PNM General Secretary last Thursday through General Secretary Foster Cummins. The correspondence detailed what it described as a critical concerns regarding governance, constitutional compliance, and electoral integrity from within the San Fernando East constituency. It urged the political leader, General Secretary, and General Counsel to thoroughly investigate the alleged operational irregularities and to take the necessary corrective action to restore the confidence of San Fernando East members. The letter was sent to the General Secretary in care of Cummins. The Council was informed of the correspondence from San Fernando East. However, it was confirmed that the letter was not read at the meeting, despite being addressed to the Council, as it was not submitted in the required format. Sources said such correspondence should have been addressed directly to the General Secretary rather than the Council. The development generated interest amongst General Council attendees and on social media. Manning did not respond to calls or text messages seeking comment on the matter. The letter stated that critical governance issues had been repeatedly brought to Manning's attention by San Fernando East members during consultation following the 2025 general election. It called for immediate attention to the following matters in order to protect the party: perceived conflicts of interest within the executive. The letter cited widespread and growing unease amongst members regarding an alleged structural overlap in governance arising from the San Fernando East constituency chairman simultaneously serving on the PNM National Executive. While the dual role may be permissible under the party existing framework, the letter stated it had created a strong perception of a conflict of interest. Members increasingly feel this arrangement compromises the necessary impartiality, transparency, and objective advocacy required when local constituency grievances are escalated to the national level. The perceived deficit in independence representation has led to a noticeable decline in institutional confidence, the letter stated. Constitutional non-compliance regarding by election. Constituents also raised serious procedural concerns regarding the recent by-election held to fill the executive vacancy. Members alleged that the vacancy was not announced in strict accordance with the PNM Constitution, which mandates 7 days notice to members before an election is held. The letter further alleged that the subsequent election of appointment of an individual who was a non-attending constituency group representative and an employee of a senior executive official had amplified concerns regarding transparency, fairness, and nepotism. The deviation from established constitutional procedures has severely fractured internal trust, the letter stated. General decline in executive integrity. I did not realize that this letter was this long, but I'm in it, so I had to stay in it. The letter stated that as a result of the issue raised, a significant cross-section of San Fernando East members have expressed a profound lack of confidence in the current executive capacity to fairly, neutrally, and transparently administer our upcoming internal processes, particularly in instances where incumbent officers intend standing for re-election. It suggested that the General Council implement a number of oversight measures before the July constituency election, including an independent audit and verification of all registered active San Fernando East party groups, the immediate regularization and official recognition of all party groups meeting the constitutional requirement of the PNM, and independent oversight of external administration from the national levels of management constituency election. Yesterday, PNM political leader Penelope Beckers did not respond to WhatsApp queries seeking her view on the letter, whether it would be discussed or whether any of the recommendations would be adopted. Cummins also did not respond. However, PNM executive officials said assurances had been given that the matter would be discussed. The PNM will handle its business internally, and the leadership will appropriately manage matters as required, one official said. PNM Assistant General Secretary Patricia Alexis, who is also chairman of the San Fernando East Constituency Executive, did not respond to requests for comment. Alexis, who served as chairman of the constituency for more than 10 years and was a member of Becker's 1 PNM slate during the party's 2025 internal election. Right? So that there was what MP for San Fernando East would have put. So it was a newspaper, so it's not me putting PNM business outside. Right? And if you remember during the internals last year, I think it was, or year before, one of the two, one of the chairman of the election committee or vice chair or something to that, or deputy chair to that effect, would have resigned from that election committee or whatever it was. And no explanation. We had the mayor of Port au Prince in writing about the inconsistency and the same thing that MP Manning is talking about, more or less, and also Attorney Musai Faifai or something, so it's his name, forgive me for wrong pronunciation. So there were challenges. So on seeing this, I see the goodly Dr. Naim Gaspi, Dr. Naim Gaspi, let me give her a title, would have responded. And I thought that, seeing that you're concerned about the constitution of the PNM, something raised by Mr. Manning, one of your colleagues in Parliament, and you are the lady vice chair, and you choosing to respond, that you would have spoken about what MP Manning said and quell that, and you will deal with it, whatever. No. You choose that opportunity, and the same writer, Ms. Gail Alexander, and here the Guardian today. Gatsby Dolly says PNM individuals raging war on Penny. And Opposition People's National Movement PNM, as opposition People's National Movement PNM leader Penelope Beckers approaches her first year in office on Monday, PNM Vice Chair Dr. Naim Gatsby Dolly has come to her defense, accusing a group of PNM individuals of waging campaign against Beckers. Beckers assumed leadership of the PNM on June 29, 2025, following the party's defeat to the United National Congress in April general election. Gatsby Dolly's defense was aired over the weekend on social media conversations after a woman criticized Beckers for being photographed with UNC Finance Minister Devendranath Tanku in Faizabad during last Friday's Labor Day celebration. Beckers' late father, Lionel Beckers, had been a prominent trade unionist with the Oilfield Workers Trade Union. While attending the Labor Day celebration, Beckers visited Tanku, who is Faizabad MP. After the female activist criticized Beckers' courtesy call on Tanku, Gatsby Dolly stated on Monday, and I read to you all what she would have put to my post, right? So I'm not reading over that again. She went on to add, such persons are solely misguided as their campaign as such and such action are to be condemned. This party is 70 years old and has stood the test of time of adherence to the Constitution. Attempts to deviate from the Constitution and its principles have proven to do much more harm rather than good, right? I read that part too. Through the efforts of those who have continued to place the PNM above themselves and their own narrow interests, this party has prevailed through good and bad times. The PNM is bigger than, I read that part already, and she said greater the PNM. This is where she continued. Gatsby Dolly did not reply to Guardian media question yesterday on the post. The situation in the party and her further view on the leadership party and some members' issues. Former General Secretary Ashton Ford, who has been critical of Becker's modus operandi, has no immediate comment on the parties under Becker's today. However, he said he will be writing a piece ahead of the PNM one-year anniversary under her leadership. A number of PNM MPs and senators also rallied around Becker's. The work continues on TNT behalf, one MP who did not want to be named. Right? This is the same goodly doctor who stood in a convention just last year and used words that they say Dr. Eric Willem used in a different time and a different context. In these times, where the party need healing, to say those who paraphrasing, those who step in line, they must come out and they go put them out and all them kind of things she say, right? But they're looking for love and togetherness, right? This is the same woman who stand up in this jersey. That's why I say she's disingenuous. I saying so. This jersey that talks about censorship equals dictatorship. And I said she's disingenuous. Because all the things she has been doing is trying to censor people who have a disagreement with the leadership of PNM. Disagreement does not mean disloyalty. But you, madam, because you're so educated more than everybody, you're prettier than everybody, space in your teeth more than everybody, and you say people jealous for the space in your teeth and all kind of thing. You feel you can talk to people any way you want and then get to become the victim to all what people is who that bad talking and saying things. You doing the same thing, you're using a different language. You are trying to censor people. If all was doing the right thing, all will not have a problem when people are asking questions, because it's not the people who are asking questions bring PNM business in the road. When Mrs. Jennifer Baptiste Primus brought PNM business on General Council in the road, you didn't know to tell she had know about constitution. When the no treasurer, I understand is the treasurer, Mr. Lee Hunt was talking all outside. All they didn't know about constitutional thing, but you know what? It suits all the purposes, in my opinion, to have them talking so, because they're talking against Dr. Rowley and against Stuart Young. So I didn't mind. But now that people have an issue with the leadership of how the PNM going, and listen, if you're in leadership, you have to have thick skin. Miss Becker's take the work, she has to take the criticism that comes with it. And it's not as though people lying on her. So instead of trying to alienate people by trying to shame them and trying to make them people watch them as if them trying to mash up the party, it's all you who trying to mash up the party, in my opinion. So your jersey with censorship equals dictatorship, take that and put it where the monkey put the nut, because you're very disingenuous. Right? Again, I say, if you try to stop people from talking inside, people will talk outside. And only can play no victim when them things happen. You want to play, you want to drag people because you feel you're going to have the Women's League behind you like it's a cult to come out on social media, support you and start to cuss people too. I don't know if it's a cult or they want to the PNM, because right now how they're operating, or they're no different than the UNC. Right? So let's continue. Those silly people like me, you know, you see them young ones and them between the ages of 18 and 40 and thing. I talked to one today, 39 years old, very articulate. It's them all have to worry about, because them is a different kind of people. Them ain't coming to all with no noise and bacchanal, you know. Them is professionals. They will talk and think and bring with their ideas and all that and whatever the case may be. It's them all have to worry about, not about we. And if all is serious about building this party, all they will be looking to talk with people, include people, and don't be afraid to take questions. Don't be afraid to be on a Facebook, WhatsApp, on a WhatsApp page with people, listen to comments, and then understand where we are, and then call to have people to come and have a general meeting and air their views. Why all they do that? But you seem you want to play use the big bad words. Dr. Rowley bring you in the PNM. If Dr. Rolly make you something, you cannot make your money outside PNM because he's a brilliant woman, some marine this and whatever is a PhD. You don't need to be a minister. Dr. Rolly bring you in, make you minister, and you want to talk about treatment. Let people ask you how you used to treat your colleague in the Ministry of Education. You have a kind of way how you does deal with people, you know. You're not a woman that talk to people on the ground, you know. You're very up in the air with your attitude and like you're better than people, you know. And people just talk about that. I'm not in the executive. I don't want to be no executive. I'm not in no high-ranking role in Ting in PNM, and I don't want none. Because I don't want nobody call me and tell me don't say and should say and could I say. But the way all they go in, it's not the right way for the PNM because the constitution that you want to train people face. It talk about what all they talking about. It talk about inclusion, it talk about talent, it talk about diversity, it talk about accepting other cultural groups and tradition and all. It speak about inclusion. But all with all the black people, and I think we must get she upset. Somebody in a chat put, you know why I'm talking? Because they want to conveniently say people bringing PNM business out on social media when it's them doing it. I didn't go to no newspaper and have no interview. I didn't tag nobody, comment and as an official in the executive and write it on Facebook and sharing it all over. Me and do that. Somebody on the chat write and say, that what they say, me and say it's true. That they say, what they say Dolly or something so. Was calling people during last election to tell them don't vote for Stuart Young. Not me say so. So I don't know if it's all that you see. I didn't say so. I say, let me read the thing. Me didn't say so. Me ain't say so. Right? The person say, I have recorded voice calls with Gasti amongst others, telling people don't vote for Stuart Young because he's not black. That what the person put. They were calling around various constituencies. They had a whisper campaign. That what the person say. I mean, I don't know nothing about that. But I know, I hear people say they was doing that, but this person confirming what we say. I want the Honorable Dr. Gasti to tell people what she meant by this when she posted up after they came back from the caucus in Tobago where they vote on the whole bacchanal and who did vote and who didn't vote. Ask her what she mean by that anytime or let's see her. Being comfortable in a space doesn't mean it is the right place for you. That is she put you there and the name they Guyan Gatsby Dolly. Being comfortable in a space doesn't mean it's the right place for you. Good morning. And just because you're fitting doesn't mean you're in the right place. And this drain pipe and plate and thing in it. What should it mean by that? Coming out of the caucus in Tobago. What should it mean by that? Who should have thrown that for? Who should have talking about? Who should have talking about? Look, all of these people alone, eh? Fix what's wrong in the PNM and let's get the PNM up and working and running properly. Yeah? Let's get the PNM up running. Why then use this when they're talking the convention? They want to use all kind of things Dr. Eric Williams used. Why then use this? I call upon all party members to stop once and for all this infuriating nonsense that every Indian is anti-PNM. Every Indian is not anti-PNM. Nor is every white. Some of the worst enemies of the PNM are as black as the ace of spades, Dr. Aaron 1960. Why don't we read something like that? Huh? Why don't we read something like that? Yeah? With all the black party, all the rocks with that shop, and as the young people not interested in that kind of talk, this is a cosmopolitan country. All the fix what's going on in the PNM. And stop studying who is dissident. Again, disagreement does not mean disloyalty. So don't try to gaslight nobody and to shame nobody and victimize people and intimidate people and bully people because they have a different disagreement. If all are doing the right thing All the time, it will not reach to this. Why they went and sit down 6 all by all themselves with Miss Penelope Becker's MP, and through she as opposition leader, went 13 all they win all their seats. Why all they do that? People get to know about it. You think people will be displeased? You think people won't be displeased? Why you illegally? That's what they're saying. That would the man write anything. I don't know the position of chairman and all them kind of thing. All them things they're saying is against the Constitution. But I want to tell people who talking about the Constitution, I want to shame them. Let me tell you something, Dr. Naya and Dolly Gaspy. Me, I'm not against you. I don't know you like that. I'm not really interested in knowing you. But you are MP in the People's National Movement. You was a member of parliament before. You was the Minister of Education. And you are part of the PNM. And you will get respect if you show people respect. But the way you continue to disrespect people, when they disrespect you, don't play no victim. But me, I'm not against all. Me, I'm not against the political leader of the PNM. Me not interested in that. Like PNM business. My interest is the opposition leader, Trinidad and Tobago, that represent all citizens, whether or not it's PNM, UNC, to just vote, to vote, there's African, Chinese, Indian, whoever it is. That is my interest. And the way how she became the opposition leader wasn't the right thing, because they complain about Dr. Rowley in Tobago, or they complain about Dr. Rowley in Tobago and the whole Stuart Young issue, and when they come and do worse than what they say Dr. Rowley do. So what I want people to say, people have feelings too. It have people, real people who like Stuart Young and don't like how they treat Stuart Young, and of course it are real people who like Penelope Beckers and don't like how we just say she politically. On both sides it will have things. It always had that in the PNM. It had a man faction, Dr. Rowley faction, Dr. Eric Williams, NAR, Carl Hudson. So they always had that, but they had a mechanism to be professionals and deal with it internally. Always not professionals. All they like the back around the lily and the thing dragging and they want to blame people. Get all they act together. All they want to lead, all they want PNM stay in opposition 2030 because they were going. No young people coming to vote for you. Young people are saying that Mrs. Beckers is a nice lady. They like her, but she have no energy. She can't do nothing for the party, can't do nothing for the country. That's what people say, not only we. Young people saying that, and I talk to them. And your behavior ain't making it better, Dr. Nayam Gaspy Dolly, because you want to jump out, use the baddest thing, you want to jump out and zombie everybody and bully everybody. Miss Lady, pat down, calm yourself and do the correct thing so people will look at PNM as the alternative again in this country. That is what I have to say. And people, when all they're ready to do the right thing, I'm ready too. Once all they keep going so, I will call out the wrongs, the same way as call out the wrongs in UNC. Because when I'm doing it to UNC, and I'm saying all kind of thing about camera, all they does like that. So nobody does have a problem. But to talk to all they watching the blasted mirror, that's all they have to do. All they talking, all they calling Kettle Black, that's what they're doing. Pointing fingers at people, fingers pointing back at all they. Take responsibility for the action of where the PNM reach. It's not only Dr. Rowley alone, not only Stuart Young alone. All they had a part to play in it also. And all who in vote too had a part to play in it. Don't just put it on two people. Take responsibility. Sit in from the General Council. Sit in front of a general membership meeting and listen to the concerns of the young people. Listen to the concerns of the people who still hurting. Listen to the concerns of members. All they want to do that. All they want to stay in all the ivory tower in Bali State House. That's all they own. That's all their house. That's all they own. Bali State House is all they own. PNM is all they own alone. And who all they want to come in. PNM was never about that. That's why it endured for 70 years. The foundation is strong as hell. It might have some windows to fix and that, but all they can't shake the PNM. PNM is a living thing. It will come back. And that same PNM will reject all you. It will eject and reject all you. So what are they doing? All they're too wicked. Dr. Nayam Dolly Gaspy is a wicked person. You don't have a good heart. You're wicked. I say so. Let them go and tell you and then go and make a post and say what I say. Call, put my name in it. Don't put just a woman. An activist. Me and no activist. I'm a realist. You're a wicked individual for the things that you're doing. You're doing the wrong things. You're wicked as a woman. Don't worry. It's have a God above. All of we that pray. All of we that pray. All of we that pray. But so let's do the right thing for the PNM and the people who grieving. Pull them together. And all who vex with what I say, they could take it and see if they could change it and buy groceries. Or pay their mortgage or something. Or they ain't bound to listen to my live again. That is quite okay. I'm cool with that. Because at the end of the day, I start off with this. About 3-4 people in my life and I was happy giving information and talking. I could talk But I'm happy for the people who are there with me and who have always supported me. I thank you all so much. All my people, Rookman, Anon, Mr. Gibson, Atilia, Slimy, Marlene, Point Commander, Charmaine, everybody, all those on Facebook, Melka, the whole crew on Facebook. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for always supporting me. I may not always say things that you all are pleased about, but all they know I do it with an honest heart. All they know that to all themselves. All they know when Jen talks, she ain't talking from a place of hate and acrimony. She talking from a place of truth, a place of honesty, and wanted to see the best for the People's National Movement, because I know the young people depending on a PNM, and all they so miss Dr. Nayangas, your name calling because you're pushing yourself in front. Nobody else is pushing yourself in front. People are refusing to take call and things from media, but you want to talk, so your name out in front. What all they're doing is a wicked act to the young people in this country. Wicked act. That's why I say you're wicked. She's a wicked person. I hear in your own constituency have problems with you. I hear that you're down in point 14. You're down in point 14. You see what? Some coordinator, something. You tell nobody in point 14 to coordinate. What about the Mr. We name? Who was the MP? The one who's the pilot. That pretty one now. We named there. Kennedy something in name. Kennedy Richards. He from point 14. He was a member of parliament. Why he can't be the coordinator, whoever, for the constituency? Would have to take you from Bali's house and bring you quite long there to do. You want to be in everything. I hear they had some celebration for the Butlerites and them in the area where Butler would have founded and thing, and know that a house in the area and whatever. They just have the thing every June, whatever. You go down there giving speech. What you doing down there is a Butlerite. Leave point 14 people now. Let point 14 people do their thing now. Or you're pushing yourself and everything. Calm down.
See me, so long you not see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long you not see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long you not see me. Woman said they were feeling me, promoter said they need me. To mash up the place, to rip up the place, so can music don't steal me, and the power reveal me. Some woman claim that they dream me. I swear. So long you don't see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long you don't see me, when you see me, I will take it away. I miss all the commotion and all the promotion and crossing the ocean and all the celebration and all my friends together at one location. I swear. You don't see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long, and I see me. 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 Woman said they were feeling me. Promoter said they need me. To mash up the place, to rip up the place, so can music and see me. The power reveal me. Some woman said they dream me. I swear. So long you not see me, when you see me, so long you not see me. So long. I miss every Grenadian and all Vincentian and all them Belgian and all Jamaican and all St. Lucian and all the island. So I swear, I swear, I swear, I swear. So long you not see me, when you see me, so long, so long, so long, so long, so long. So long you not see me. Woman said they were feeling me, promoter said they need me. To mash up the place, rip up the place, fuck up me what they feel me, and the power will feel me. Some woman claims to them, they claim to now. When you see me, when you see me, when you see me, I take it away. I take it away. I miss all the commotion and all the promotion and cross.
Now the election back and I'll die away. In short, this is what I have to say. Let us forget fights and grudges and concentrate. Come, let us sit and try to relate. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah. Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now more than ever we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation.
Okay. Yeah, sure. You can put me back in the studio.
You are in the studio and I can see you.
Yeah, but also people can hear me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Listen, my internet drops. I had also put it on data plan on my phone. I didn't even realize I won. So people, I'm going to tell you something. They can't stop the truth. At the end of the truth, thank you for the 180 people who stayed on. And again, I hope that you're able to get everything I said there before. And I say what I say with conviction. I ain't say it with water in my mouth. And I could say it again. What is happening in the PNM with this new leadership is not right. They're not listening to people. They're doing their own thing. They're talking about individuals who fighting against the PNM is them fighting against the people of PNM. There are people who support the opposition leader, political, they have the right to do that. I don't have a problem with that, but they have to ask themselves, is your support just based on you go get something? Or is the support based on the fact what the PNM means to this country, what it means to bring back this country, and for everybody to be able to achieve and to benefit from the policies of the PNM, or just yourself to get a contract, and if any day I will get to be the councillor, I will get to be mayor. Is it just about that? Because you could get to be mayor and council all that in the shitty state that we in, and the shitty state the PNM in, and for what purpose? All they're comfortable in opposition, because I understand it has been said, all they waited for the UNC to implode. And when the UNC imploded, so people will just vote for PNM. Them all they will get a rude awakening, you know. PNM cannot win no election with the normal crew of people, the elders, the seniors like myself and others. They need an injection of the youth to make a difference. They want PNM to win an election where opposition cannot stop them from making the proper laws in this country and proper policies in this country. So let's sit down there, hold on to power. All who wasn't before they dream to be leader, nowadays leader, and not understand what leadership is. All they playing with people. The same with the UNC playing with people. All they playing with people. Miss Penelope Beckers, opposition leader and political leader, all they're playing with people. Dr. Nayan Gaspi Dolly, all they're playing with people, emotions and feelings. All who on that executive, from treasurer to general secretary to chairman to vice chair to election officer to youth officer to all the officer, labor officer, and whoever officer, all they're playing with people. And operation officer and all them officer, all they're playing with people. People out here angry because they lose their work and they're looking for hope. They know the PNM is the hope, and all they're playing with people. All you cannot make no PNM win an election. That is a fact. And if all they're waiting on UNC to implode and feel that would mean people will just automatically vote for the opposition leader, all they're living in Nana land, all they don't care about this country. I say so, my opinion. So you, Dr. Nayan Gaspi, you continue to bully people. You continue to insult people. You continue to make derogatory remarks against people. You continue that and see if people will want you to represent them. I just asking that again. I have no hate for nobody in the PNM and the executive. I have a different opinion. It doesn't mean disloyalty. And I'm saying it again, Mrs. Penelope Beckers Robinson, with the greatest of respect, you're politically weak. You have done nothing remarkable in the ministries that you work or anywhere as a lawyer or anywhere, being very mediocre. And this time the country don't need no mediocre. They need somebody who could do the work, who could bring the people, who could have the people energized, who could have the people excited and want to work, where young people could come, young professionals could come and have a voice, where they could make a part and be a part of something. You can't do that, unfortunately. And all who following you and trying to fool people that you could do it, all the wicked to all the self and all the generation to come. All the wicked to all the self and the generation to come for that. People, when all they're ready to start to do the right thing, I'm ready to. I thank you all for the 205 who remain and stay, but I leave it now because I'm tired. I went over, and sorry for that disruption. There seemed to be some kind of dip in electricity or something, threw every damn thing off. So I was fighting just to get back up, just to finish off this thing and don't leave it in that way, right? Love you all. See you all on Friday. God's when I come with something for something new. This is Girl Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal, Miss Jennifer Frederick. And I await Dr. Nayan Dolly Gaspi writing an editorial about the activist and the woman and this who fighting against the PNM. And it's she who fighting against the PNM. She and the executive. And this jersey I have on, do I ever put it back on? Do I ever put back on this jersey? Where the jersey? Like the jersey and all gone. Do I ever put back on a jersey with censorship equal dictatorship? Because that is all they're doing, censoring people. All they're censoring people. So, don't play me for no fools. All they have a blessed one, love you all are gone.
Go lick down challenge instead of opportunity. It's self-reliance. Me ready when you ready. We go tear down Babylon. Go to system. Me ready when you ready. We go fling down Babylon. In a ready. Me ready when you ready. We go chant down Babylon. Me ready when you ready. We go lick down Babylon. Oh, yeah. The rising prices is rising every time, and unemployment is making people turn to crime. I be a promises and a bag of threats. Why you kill each other over politics? You want unity in your community, so you don't belong to high society. We hear of problems over the media about a black man's struggle in Africa. So me ready when you ready. We go chant down Babylon. Me ready when you ready. We go tear down Babylon. Me ready when you ready. We go lick down Babylon. Me ready when you ready. We go chant down Babylon. Is it because of the book and the pencil why you try to sidestep the treaty? Is it because of the pen and the paper why you keep the chains on me? Is it because of the book and the pencil why you try to avoid the treaty? Is it because of the pen and the paper why you keep the chains on me? If I had to fight for emancipation, then I shall resist for my liberation. And with truth and right, I shall win my liberty. We shall unite to secure the victory. Kojo and Ani, their courage and their bravery, Kofi and Wash delivered their race from slavery. Marcus Garvey and his imperial majesty, Luther King and Marley, voices the oppression of humanity. So me ready when you ready. We go chant down Babylon. Go to system. Me ready when you ready. We go tear down Babylon. In a ready. Me ready when you ready. We go lick down Babylon. Me ready when you ready. We go mash down Babylon. The school graduates turn into loafers. Educated children turn into beggars. The underprivileged now go have no privilege. Mentally handicapped, what a disadvantage. So me ready when you ready. We go chant down Babylon. Me ready when you ready. We go lick down Babylon. Say me ready when you ready. We go mash down Babylon. Me ready when you ready. We go tear down Babylon. Say me ready when you ready. We go chant down Babylon. Me ready when you ready. We go lick down Babylon.